Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you. You may have seen back in the day we did a video where we started out and there was a Bally Star Trek pinball machine sitting here that somebody had shot with a bang bang. Can't say that on YouTube. And we fixed it all up. Well, as soon as we moved that out, we moved another game into one spot. This is kind of like our boat anchor spot here. Joey keeps doing it. Joey, where did you get this machine? The bottom part of the machine.
I think I got it in a storage unit full of games.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's been a while.
Remember there was a guy, didn't a guy sell us a couple of them? And he had like one back glass or something, and he wasn't going to give you the back glass or something.
Maybe, I don't remember.
But anyway.
We can act like it came from wherever you want.
Yeah, just let's make up a story. It was a little church. Yep. They said it had been in the back room since 1977, and only the pastor could play it. Yep. But the guy liked to drink a lot, and he used to spill Coke on the playfield. And then the cleaning crew, when they came in, they would clean it up, but they used bleach on the playfield, and that's why it's so worn.
Sounds good.
That's where this one came from. So we've only got the bottom of it. So it's got problems. This is a rough one. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to completely reconstruct out of just junk parts a Bally Lost World pinball machine. Most people, they would part this thing. But here's the problem. There's nothing there that's got any value to it. So you can't part it. Somebody else already parted it. There's nothing left. There's nothing for us to part. The plastics is about the only thing that you could get any money out of, and you probably wouldn't get much out of that. So it's just this old beat-up Bally Lost World, and we're going to fix it up. We'll do a series of it, but this is the very first part. So the problem is it's missing the head. So somewhere we got an extra head for a stern Stingray. How did we do that?
This is a swimmer, ain't it?
No, I think that's a sting. Is that a swimmer? No, I think it's a Stingray. I thought we had like extra Stingray heads.
Oh, maybe.
I think this is a stern Stingray because we got that extra back glass. See if it says. It might say in here somewhere. Well, there it is. It says insert.
Yeah, it's a Stingray.
Stingray, baby.
Yeah.
It's a stern Stingray. So the deal with Stern was, as I understand it, they bought the company that was making Bally's boards and then used them to make their boards. So they're exact copies of the Bally boards. And since the boards are the same, they made the cabinets the same too. I don't know if they bought the company that made the cabinets, but a Stern pinball machine of this era is very similar to a Bally pinball machine of this era. Joey?
Yep.
The insert board, are they in the wrong spot?
Yes, they are.
Good God almighty. All right. So we've got the wrong head with the wrong art. But we're going to bolt it on here because it's the right size. And it's missing this side piece. But that's okay. Joey's going to make one. The piece that goes there is the same as the piece that goes there, but it goes there instead.
Yep. Okay?
So we've got a template.
Won't be no problem.
No big deal. The wiring harness should be the same, or close enough that we can make it happen. The main problem that I just noticed is the Bally Lost World back glass. The score displays are in a different spot. There's two about there. There's one here that's ball and play, and then there's 3 and 4s down here. So we're going to have to make a new one. But that'll be all right. And then rewire the whole thing.
That'll be fine.
Won't be no big deal, people. Don't worry about it. So that's what we're starting with. The playfield is largely worn. Like I said, he spilled Coke on it all the time. So these are our parts. Now, why would we do such a thing? Because it's useless if you don't do something with it. I mean, you kind of... Either we part it out and throw a bunch of stuff away or give it away or try to get $20 out of it, or we put it back together and we get thousands of dollars out of it. I'm going to go for the thousands of dollars. So this is what we're starting with. Now you can see that we've got other junk here. Like we've got this old jukebox here, this AMI. We're going to fix it too. These AMIs are very underappreciated, but it's got a big hole in it. And then we've got a nice Seaberg here that somebody replaced the pilasters in it with sheet metal. But I got a good deal on it, so this is kind of like our, I don't want to say junk. It's all got value, but this is what we're starting with. All right, so we're going to clean it up a little bit, and we're going to set it up on its legs, I guess, is the next thing. What do you think?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right, I'm gonna give you one of my trade secrets. Don't tell anybody. So, you can buy brand new pinball legs. They're not too expensive. Then you got to pay shipping on them. You got to wait on them. And then what are you going to do with the old legs? You just going to throw them in the garbage? So we like to just sand the old ones down and paint them. And we like to use hammered paint. And this is as close as we can find to the original Bally colored gray. This is dark bronze. I shouldn't be telling you this because then I'm not going to be able to find this anymore. But I figured I'd do you a favor. But the hammered is going to get down in there and just cover up, you know, the little pits that are going to be in it after I get done sanding it. And then, of course, I'm going to put new leg levelers on it. And then we like to put new bolts in it afterwards. So this is the before. Some of you be thinking, wow, those are bad. They're not really, though. They look a lot worse than they are. Most of that's just surface rust. It's going to come right off once I sand it. And then I'm going to paint it with Rust-Oleum hammered paint. Well, it's been a while since we worked on this Lost World. It's kind of a big project. It's one of those projects you don't know if you're really ready to get started on it. And originally we were just going to try to touch up the cabinet. But after we started looking at it, it's, you know, it's pretty rough on the sides. And again, this is a different back box. We would have had to paint that a solid color and then just paint the frame black, which we'll still do. But we decided to go ahead and order the decals for it. There's a guy on eBay that sold us a set of decals for the side of the cabinet and the back box. We did put a set of decals on our Bride of Pinball a while back. It didn't really go that great. So I'm hoping this one will go a little bit better. Maybe we learned something, maybe we didn't. I guess we'll try it again. But I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to sand down this cabinet. I'm going to pretty much take it down to the wood. I think I'm going to Bondo up a little bit here and there. And I'm going to primer it or paint it. I'm going to do something with it to just seal up the wood before I put the decals on. So that's my thought. I'm going to take out the play field. Take everything out off of it, obviously. But here's a before. Kind of a big job too, because you got to take off the rails. Coin door frame. I got to bondo up this corner. So I guess I'm gonna get it out of there and start on it. Well, I'm making money already. I had no idea it had a bunch of stuff down inside of it. I got the play filled out, and I had an extra lockdown bar in there for some reason. I think what probably happened is I put this down inside of it, and then I somehow had another lockdown bar laying around, and I guess I just put it on there and forgot all about those. You had a couple light fixtures in there, a lockdown bar, some marquee brackets. It's been sitting over here for several years, and I haven't even touched it. But this year I'm trying to work through all of our old projects we've had sitting around forever. We got a ways to go, and we've got a bunch more than this at a different location. Last year we worked on a lot of machines, but most of them were actually for customers that saw us on YouTube, and we got pretty far behind on our own stuff. Well, we got caught up on all of our repairs that we were doing for other people. So this year I'm not going to take on quite as many repairs for other people and work on a lot of our stuff, because I've got to get some of this stuff fixed. It's just been sitting around forever. I've probably had this game 5 years or more, and it's just been sitting around. So we got to get to it. So I'm gonna get all that out of there, and I'm going to take off the side rails, take off the shooter, take off the coin door frame, and I'm going to bondo it up a little bit around the edges. And I'm going to take it outside and sand it down. I've got a little Milwaukee palm sander, cordless. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't really have a good way to film that because, you know, dust is going to be going everywhere, and I think I'll just be back whenever I get it sanded down, and I may have some paint or primer on it. But we'll be back. All right, I got it all sanded down. I primered it, had to sand it some more. I got about as flat as I think I'm going to be able to get it. Did a little Bondo wood filler around some of the corners. But here's the side art we were talking about. Obviously that's the front section for the coin door, and those are the two back box pieces, and of course we got the sides too down there also. But I guess I'm going to cut these out just to make them more manageable, and don't really know if I'm going to film this because there might be some, it might be frustrating is what I'm saying. There may be some words involved because you got to get it all lined up just right. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the back and the neck just to get my confidence up so it'll start looking a little bit better. And then when Ronnie gets in, he's going to help me with the side art because it's probably going to be a two-person job. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Oh, and the remember the rails come down to there and cover that, and it'll cover most of that back there. But anyway, We'll see how it goes. Wish us luck. So I haven't bought any paint for it yet. I'm just kind of winging it here, but I'm going to need a yellow for the back of the cabinet and also for the top of the back box. I'm looking through our stash, and it looks like I bought this. I think it'll be pretty close. We're going to dry a little darker. Looks like I bought it in 2016. So we'll see how it goes. It looks a little light, but maybe we'll darken it up a little bit with some black or something. All right, we got one side on. We just got this side rail sitting on there just so you kind of get the idea. And I painted this part, but I got that color pretty close actually. So far so good. I think it's looking pretty nice. I always paint the edges of the cabinet just in case whenever you trim it, you know, a little bit isn't perfectly lined up. But that's the left side. I think it looks pretty good. All right, we got the other side on and the front on. The guy didn't print it quite right. It was kind of too stretched. We could have lowered this down to make that gap a little bit smaller, but then this would have been off the cabinet and that would have been cut in half. So we thought it would look better like this. Once we get the coin door in and that trim, there'll be a little gap there. But we actually looked at our old pictures from our other Lost World, and there was a little gap there anyway. And so we kind of, the guy didn't print it right. This is kind of a compromise. If you can just do your original paint and touch up your original cabinet, you're better off. Don't take a nice usable cabinet and then try to put side art on it. We don't think, because it's just got lots of little things. Like here, like the side rails is going to cover all of this. But whenever it gets up here, it's not. It doesn't cover this little area. And even once you get the lockdown bar, I think you're going to be able to see some of this. So we're going to have to touch that up a little bit. Hold on, I'll show you. That's about where it goes. And we couldn't raise it up anymore because then it would have been off. We would have had a bad spot down here. So that's what you got to deal with when you're working with reproduction artwork. Nothing's ever as good as the original. But, you know, on this one, we normally would have touched this cabinet up, but we didn't really have much choice because remember, we don't have a head for this machine. We are going to have to, we had to turn our other head into a Lost World, so we didn't have any artwork on it. So that was the main reason we went this route. So we can have, let's see, these go in the back box. So all in all, I think it looks pretty good. It's a lot better than where we started. Once we get the rails back on and the legs on and the coin door in, it's all going to come together, I think. But yeah, people think this is an upgrade. If you've got a good original cabinet that's painted, don't just get some new side art. Leave your original side art if it's decent. If it's all messed up, you can go this route. But don't take an 8 and try to take it to a 10 by putting artwork on it, because it ain't really going to happen. But in our case, this is working out okay. All right, now that we got the body all fixed up with the artwork on it, now we're going to move over to the back box. And I don't know if you've been watching the entire video, but we actually don't have a back box for a Lost World. This is from a swimmer. I think it's a stern swimmer, but it's the same size. And it's in pretty bad shape. But I'm going to sand it down to the wood. I'm going to take some wood filler, fill in some of the bad spots. This side over here is actually missing this wood trim piece. But I'm just going to trace this side over here. See who's calling? It was spam. We get so many spam calls. And your phone tells you it's a telemarketer or it's spam. So I don't see how anybody answers the phone. That must be a really tough job. But anyway, we're going to trace this side. I'm sure we got some kind of scrap laying around. I never throw out any lumber, because, you know, somebody cut down a tree to get that lumber. And the price of wood is really expensive, especially these days. So I'm sure I've got something that I can make that out of. But I'm not even going to worry about that right now, because if I put it on now, it'll just get in my way whenever I'm sanding. So I'm going to go ahead and sand it. Put some wood filler on it, get everything nice and smooth. And then we'll put the art on, and then I'll probably put that piece on last. But that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. This is actually going to be quite a bit of work, because swimmer, the displays are in the wrong spot. It would have been nice if we would have had an extra Bally head that the displays all lined up on. But yeah, this one's going to be kind of tough to get all that straight. But again, we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just trying to get the box and the artwork and everything on it, and then we'll go back and do that next time. But here's the before. Get a good look. It's broke. Yeah, we actually got that Lost World and a storage unit by. We bought a bunch of games off a guy. He had a whole storage unit full of stuff. And he had an extra Lost World body. So there was 2 Lost Worlds in there, but only one of them had the head. So we fixed the nicer one of the 2 a couple years back. So we just had the body of the Lost World laying around. And then later on, in another deal, we got an extra head out of a swimmer. So now we're going to try to piece it all together, if everybody's wondering what the heck we're doing here. We don't really have much choice. It's either fix it or throw it out. Which one do you want us to do? Yep. I agree. We got to do something with it. It's going to be a nice game if we can get it all pieced back together. All right, we'll be back later. All right, I'm outside on my workbench. So I found me a piece of scrap wood. I cut it to length, and then I put it up next to this side here. I clamped it. There's my clamp. Traced it. Then I cut it. It's not rocket science, people. Come on now. So then I had to drill a hole from my lock. So once I line that up, I'll still be able to get to the lock. I've got everything sanded down pretty good. So I think I'm going to paint the back and the top yellow while I got it outside, and it's a nice day. Look at the weather. So that's that. I'm gonna paint it yellow, the top and the back, and then I'm gonna nail that on there with some finish nails. And then I'm going to probably paint the frame black. I call this the frame, the back glass frame. We've had 4 or 5 Lost Worlds, and I think they look good with the black frame. So I'm gonna paint this one black. And then once I get all that done, I'm gonna take it inside and we're gonna put those 2 decals on each side of it. And then we'll be back. All right, now tell the truth. When I first started this video, you were probably thinking, I don't know, I think they bit off more than they can chew this time. I don't think that we did. I think it's going to be pretty nice. Come on now. It's looking good. You have to admit that it's looking good. For all the naysayers out there. I think it looks great. It looks great. I put these little protectors on here that go between the leg and the cabinet, just to keep the art from getting all scratched up. You may be able to cut them here, but I just leave them long. You can get them in all different colors. I got black ones just to tie in with the black artwork. Of course, I got my frame fixed up. I only put 1 coat of black on it. I might put another coat on it after Ronnie gets done fixing it, because he likes to lay the playfield up on top of it anyway. So I'll go back and touch that up later. But I think it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty much done with my part of it for a while. I got to put the buttons in, and I've just got these rails sitting on there for the video, but I got to clean those up and install them and get the coin door frame back in. And then Ronnie's going to start working in the back box, I'd imagine. It's missing the transformer and all the boards. But we do have a special soundboard we're going to put in this one from GTO. And I'm thinking we got a transformer around here somewhere. We got stuff everywhere. But I'm pretty happy with how the artwork turned out. So I'm going to pass it back to Ronnie.
All right, folks, it's starting to look like something now. I slid the playfield back in it. On the next video, we're going to have to get into the power supply, the MPU board, the lamp driver board. We got to work through all the electronics. So, however, we got the cabinet looking pretty good, in my opinion. So, we will see you on the next video. Hey, if you like these old Bally pinball machines, make sure to check out this video. We'll see you on the next one.